Morning, everybody. I'm Senator Lonnie Paxton. I've been asked to kind of MC this deal, which means I'm simply introducing your moderator. Your moderator this morning is Miss Kathy Fowler. Kathy is a realtor from South Oklahoma City, lives here in Canadian County. Very successful realtor, was recently selected the 2018 Realtor of the Year by the Oklahoma City metro area realtors. And when I was looking at her bio, one thing I found was really neat is she used to be a forest firefighter. So I thought that was really neat, Kathy. So anyway, in the interest of time, we will go ahead and get started in this. So we have our 4 candidates up here. They've already selected numbers in the order they'll go, and Kathy will take it from here.
Okay, thank you. Can everybody hear me? There we go. I'll just have to hold this. So good morning, everybody. Thank you all for being here. I'm very honored that you asked me to moderate this debate, and I'm thrilled to see that we've got 4 candidates that have applied for this important office. So we'll go ahead and get started. The first question is going to Steve. And what do you feel is the most important role of the mayor?
The most important role of the mayor, I believe you must never forget that you're an advocate for your neighbors. You must listen to the citizens because their voice matters. And you must do what is right when nobody else is looking. You must be willing to put aside what is best for you and do what is best for the people and citizens of this community. The mayor's office is an office of the people, and I plan on returning the office of the mayor to the people. When you look at the role of the mayor, the city charter lays out how, the duties and responsibilities of the mayor, and those are there for a purpose and need to be followed. But also, the mayor is the face of the city, front door of the city, and needs to be the biggest cheerleader in his office and stuff. Needs to promote the city, and whether it be through businesses, citizens, listen to the citizens, what they have to say. And it's a very important role, and mayor needs to be the type of person that can bring the community together, work on projects, whatever they are, whatever the citizens and communities desire to do, and just continue moving the ball forward.
Hey, do any of the candidates have a follow-up question for that? Okay. Matt, are you next?
Same question?
Same question. What do you feel is the most important role of the mayor?
Well, I think the role of the mayor is a different, there's multifacets to the mayor role. And, the mayor is the face of the city, and it has to be the face of the whole city. It can't be one group. It can't be one entity. It has to be a broad spectrum of the representation of the whole community as a whole. And you have to make decisions based on that, what's good on the whole, and sometimes doing that, you make some people mad, you make some people happy. I do have some advice for my candidates up here. Once you get elected, 50% of people's going to like you, and 50% of people's not going to like you right off the bat. That's just the way it works, and that's okay. The mayor, the role of the mayor is basically to absolutely represent and speak for all citizens and try to make the best determination for them of what they do. You have to be dependable, you have to be reliable, you have to be accessible. El Reno's really a kind of a working class good town. I think we believe in that. I think they want answers, they want responsibility. I think you have to be financially responsible. I've had city managers before that recently tried to raise the budget 33%. We had to step in and take care of that because of the long-term effects being the mayor. So I think you'd be financially responsible for that. Also, in doing that, you have to keep the progression of the city going on. You have to keep these ideas that you get from people all over. I can explain all the different partnerships we've done over the years, whether it be Radio Road, whether it be with FCI, whether it be with the Canadian Valley Votech, all technical schools, sorry, Chuck. Different aspects of all these different builders that are coming in, and we're seeing all these different things happen. I think Steve is right, we have to be a cheerleader, but don't just, I think that, and this election, I think you're going to see a lot of people, some people in this community want the mayor to be a figurehead and don't talk and just stick to the charter. You run the meetings and you do what a select few of people want you to do. Well, that's just not me. I'm not going to do that. I have to fight for what I think is right for the community, what you think is right. I have to be your advocate. I have to be someone that absolutely believes in what you want me to do. I have the knowledge to do it. You have to also have, the main thing is strength in crisis. You have to be able to be there when the tornado happens, when the ice storm happens, when different situations happen. You have to be there and lead and help be the advocate of the community.
Okay, Kevin, same question. What do you feel is the most important role of the mayor?
Thank you, Mrs. Fowler. Can you hear me? There it is. Thank you, Mrs. Fowler. Thank you, host Senator Paxton, for being here, and thank you, Reno Now, for hosting this. In the interest of time, seen and not heard. That's what I interpret the role of the mayor for all of El Reno to be, is seen and not heard. Now then, what do I want to do is in the mayoral post, in the mayoral role for the city of El Reno, I want to be the ultimate liaison, the concierge for anybody that comes into our community that wants to know the history of the county, the history of the city, history about Concho, what goals we're going for in this city, what we want to do to encourage them to bring their businesses and industries here. Not just that we're going to give the farm away to save the cow, but that we want everyone to contribute to El Reno. And I hope only 49% matter.
Do you want me to repeat the question?
No, I have it right here. Good morning. I believe very important, well, I know that it is very important that the mayor has true concern for each and every citizen and each and every community. I believe that it's necessary to encourage communication, to encourage relationships amongst the entire city. And it's important that we do what we say. It's just not when the citizens come in, they have an issue, you discuss it, and then that's it. No, we want to be active. You know, we want to talk about it, and then we want to come up with solutions.
Okay, Rita, since you have the mic, I'm going to go ahead and ask this next question to you. How will you handle community concerns and complaints if you're elected?
Well, everybody's different, so the situations will be different. But I will handle them with honesty and concern and importance of that individual. If I can't help them, I will direct them to someone who can, because I'm one person and I will not have all the answers. But I will do my very best to encourage and assist the citizens as they come to me.
Okay. Kevin? Ask you the same question, since we've discussed that there's going to be some people upset with you once you get elected. How will you handle the community concerns and complaints?
I don't want anybody to be upset with me if I get elected. That's not what I want to get elected for, is to have people upset with me. But I want people to be able to call me or text me, whichever the case may be, or email me, or touch base with me on social media of their concerns. I don't want to get attacked, which is what I try not to do. But I believe that a person needs to try to be a part of the community. And I've really gotten off what I was going to say here when it came to concerns and complaints. But to the proper department, Public Works, Law Enforcement, Canadian County Sheriff's Department, if that's what the case may be, trying to tie all of the entities together and make them feel purposeful so that there won't be that many complaints. If I'm going to be the mayor for all of El Reno, I don't want there to be complaints, period. I want people to be satisfied. I want people to have smiles on their faces and a sparkle in their eye and be happy that they're a part of El Reno and be a community. A community together is stronger. Thank you.
Okay, Matt, same question.
Hey, I know how to handle complaints. We've done it for 12 years. I understand. And I say, we use the word complaint on this. It's concerns. it goes back to the first question. People, you're the elected official. People, you're the only person that you want to depend on. I get frustrated sometimes with our higher elected officials because, we're the first defense. We're the first ones that go through. They don't know who the representative is. They don't know who their senator is. They don't know who their auditor is. They don't know some of these things. Not everybody, but a lot of people don't know that. And, a lot of people just have to come to you for concern because that's your only direction. So in doing that, I've handled it different ways. The main thing is you have to be accessible. I can go down to Mount Moriah. I can go to the coffee shop and drink coffee with the guys, which I do on Sundays. I'm at every function. We've done everything. Transparency's been talked about. These buzzwords that we talked about. We've caused this, where you're at right now, Reno Now, we've had this for about a little over a year and a half to get feedback from people, to get the message out, to handle what's going on. You can pull me aside, talk to me at Walmart. You know who I am. I worked at John's when I was a little kid. I've been here forever. I'm not just knocking doors, wanting to introduce myself right now and tell you what I'm going to do in the last 3 or 4 months. I've been doing this and been wanting to be a part of the community for years. And so I think it goes back to, you got to do the Facebook stuff. It's a social media deal. You have to do the social media deal because that's how you communicate with younger people. You have to go to the coffee shop because that's how people deal with it. You have to go to different functions, whether it be meetings, bazaars, or different things you have to go to. Business people. I go downtown business and out in business all the time, just talk to people all the time. And just see, what do you need? What do we need to do better? So that's the main thing is that you have to adapt to what you do, and you have to make sure that you serve all in doing that.
Okay, Steve, same question.
First off, you have to listen. That is just imperative. You have to listen to everyone. Doesn't matter where the person comes from, where they're at, where they live. People have a voice. They all have the same. They've got basically equal power because they've all got a vote, and everybody's vote counts the same. But you have to listen to what people want. You have to. Part of a really good leadership is just the genuine ability to listen to people's concerns or issues and opportunities. But if I'm elected mayor, I can't do it alone. And not only do I want you to speak up, and I need you to speak up whenever you see you have problems, have concerns, issues. Because whenever people are concerned about things and they speak up, those are opportunities that can be addressed to move our city forward. And those things need to be listened to, need to be addressed, issues given to the proper departments or people that can actually do something about the problem. The citizens have to be listened, and not only just listened to, but they have to be heard. Second, you have to realize that their concerns do matter because it's being brought up by somebody who cares about the city and actually wants something to change and wants to do something about it. If we're not, as leaders, if we're not listening to individuals, not listening to whenever I was at the school with parents, talking about their own opportunities to make, in this case, the city better. Whenever I was at the school, to make the schools better. And those things, it's just imperative. You got to listen. Yep. But,
I'll call. Jesus called me.
Okay, we'll let Kevin start with this next question.
What is Rita not?
Yeah.
We're trying to do this.
Well, I guess my question was, do we have time to do follow-up questions? I thought that was the
Yes,
rule.
yeah.
Okay, my follow-up question to that deal, my follow-up question is, are you willing to carve time out of your schedule that you do right now and publish your telephone number and be accessible? And how are you going to do that, I guess? Are you willing to carve time out? Because when you're selling arena, you have to have certain meeting dates that you have to meet with business people. Are you willing to carve a certain time out of your day? And what would that procedure, I guess?
1 minute. I get 1 minute to answer that. Of course I would carve out. I'm semi-retired, or basically retired so I have a lot of time on my hands. And the whole key ingredient part of my decision for doing this is for the opportunity to finally give back to a community, to give back. Because so many of us, that includes myself, I was a taker in most communities. A taker, what I mean, is not involved except for just wanting to read it in an armchair. And there's a difference today. I want to give back to a community, so of course I'm going to be accessible, and I have the time. I can do this and plow too.
Absolutely, I'm going to carve out time to do this. I'm going to be accessible, my phone number, be accessible, email, but in that also plan on, if elected, plan on setting up a mobile app site that people, whatever the concern is, from potholes to policy, that they can, 24 hours a day, they can have access and get that information out, get it to the people, get it to the leaders of the city, and be visible. I served on the school. I went to a lot of functions, a lot of continuing education. Was very visible as leader of the school district. I understand what it takes and what a person needs to be able to lead. And like Mayor White said, you have to be accessible. You have to go around. You have to meet people, businesses. Whether it be Chamber of Commerce, Main Street, business leaders, citizens, go to community events, functions, all that. Yes, absolutely have to be accessible.
Yes, very much so, because I would not attempt to stand in this position and not be willing to give up my time. That's the whole purpose. This is, I see it as an honor to serve my community. And there's no way that I can do that if I don't make time. And when I said I'm interested in encouraging communication and relationships, it would start with me.
I'd like to answer the question. And that's what I do right now. I carve out Tuesdays and Thursdays afternoons, and that's when we schedule our meetings, and that's how I handle it currently now, to go over and meet with these different people. But the main thing is to talk about accessibility. And like Steve said, kind of set an app. We've had an app for about 2 years. It's called See Click Flicks. And we go over those every Thursday at our meetings to kind of see what we're doing and how we're tracking those. It kind of gives a better understanding. So if they tag me on Facebook, I'm passing that off to the proper channels, where be Mr. Frazier or Mr. Sandage or the department heads at that point in time. And the main thing is people come in the office, they want to meet with me. The ladies always know, and Katie and they do a great job. They schedule. If you want to meet with me, you don't have to. They don't ask what you want to meet about. They don't ask what does it pertain to. They say, okay, it's Tuesday and Thursday. Here's the time to be here, and we'll write you down. And I meet with people every Tuesdays and Thursdays, whether it be something about the neighbor's fence, about the grass, or about a pothole, or about what they want business coming in. So it works out real good. I think that's the thing, is you have to go through those processes in order to do that.
Okay, thank you. Kevin, I'm going to put you on the spot next.
I like to be on the spot.
Why should people vote for you in this campaign?
That's a wonderful question. Why should people vote for me to be mayor for all of El Reno? Part of it is what I just said, mayor for all of El Reno. From the individual that walks into town carrying everything they own on their back, or to the future Learjets that will sit down at El Reno Air Park, that will sit down at El Reno Air Park and come to our community. I want to be the mayor for all of it. I want to tie the community to the county, to the state, to our nation, and be an exemplary community to all of those entities. And we can do it, but it has to be done in a cooperative, cohesive, collective effort. If we're just going to go out there and try to one-man it in all of these things, it will not work. It has to be interest, groups, organizations, and a spirit to know that where we're going, what we're looking for, how we're going to get there, and what it will look like in the future. And it's now. The future is now. It'll be the middle of this century in 30 years before we'll blink. 30 years will be gone. And I kind of just answered one of the next questions, but anyway, thank you. Which way are we going?
Rita.
Which way are we going?
first and foremost. I'm a child of the Most High God, and that's important. It's because of that, because of my relationship with God. It's because I can love and treat you right. I can truly be concerned about each and every one of you, regardless of where you come from. It doesn't matter, and it's for real. I believe what also qualifies me to be the mayor, again, I'm going back to communication and relationships, because that is important. You know, we are different. We live on different sides of the towns or whatever the case. But at the end of the day, we're still one town. And the mayor has to reflect that, and I will. Also, well, I wasn't going to come here this morning, but during my devotion, I knew I had to. And I don't want to just read this, and it's important to me. I am a daughter of the King who is not moved by the world, but my God is with me and goes before me. I do not fear because I am his. It's a work to be done here, and a lot of work has been done. But it's a work that needs to be done with us as individuals and collectively, so we can do more and be better in every area of this town. We're growing, but we need to reach back and add to that growing to our people. It's just so serious to me, because I see things that you all probably don't see. So my heart is probably deep in some areas. You know, oh shucks. I can go deep on that.
Yeah, go girl.
Okay, Steve, why should we vote for you in this campaign?
Why should you vote for me? It's truly humbling to be a candidate for mayor and to set up here. It's an honor to do that. If you feel our city is right where it ought to be, and you agree with everything that's going on, you shouldn't vote for me. But if you feel that we can improve on everything from roads to infrastructure to health care, economic development, then myself and my family would very much appreciate your vote. If you believe that El Reno is missing out on our full potential, then I ask you for your vote. But if the status quo is good enough, then don't vote for me. Keep things running the way they are, and El Reno will go like it's going. But if you feel that you've not been listened to, you haven't been heard, or worse yet, that you've been ignored, then please give me a chance as your next mayor. I believe the future of El Reno, in the future of El Reno, and that's because I believe in you, the citizens of El Reno. Citizens of El Reno have great ideas, and there's great vision. People have to be listened to, need to be listened to, and we all come together. We can move things forward. Things are moving forward in El Reno, but if we develop a long-term plan, and then we work the plan, we all get in the same boat, rowing in the same direction, El Reno can get there so much faster. So, if you want things the same, don't vote for it. If you want things different, ask for your vote.
Okay, Matt, same question.
Well, I think we use the word the same. I disagree a little bit with Mr. Jensen. I don't think we're status quo. I think what we've been doing trending, and it's been a proven deal, we've been going on the way up. I mean, housing, record number, sales tax, record number of businesses, record number of projects going around town. Don't fall into the negative trap about, let's do something different. We're doing it, and we've been doing it together. I think the main thing for me is experience. I've worked real hard to go to all the classes. I'm on the Oklahoma Municipal League. First one from El Reno to ever do that. Mayor of the Year. I've worked real hard for all this stuff, but I've done that because of you all. I fight for El Reno every time. I've built several partnerships throughout the community, whether it be the multi-project that we did Entrada, that's $7 million to our downtown area, with all the new signs downtown. I'm invested in El Reno, me and my family. And we kind of put our money and our pride, what we do, we put it where it matters. Where we feel like it matters. We take blighted buildings like the old country club with my partners and tore it down. Instead of building an apartment complex, and what we did was we built an office park. We have buildings downtown. My wife and I have invested several hundreds of thousands of dollars down that are full of 4 tenants and a residential area, which that doesn't happen. So, people say we're not for this, not for that. No one's going to work harder for you all than I have. I think it goes back to the point where everybody's up here, and I commend everybody for saying what they want to do. And for them, they have to tell you what they're going to do. Well, I'm a little bit different. Steve, it's a job performance for me then. I mean, if you don't like what I've done, I've worked hard, I've talked to everybody, even the people I don't get along with. If it's best for El Reno, I'm going to help it, and I have helped you. I can point that out. I have a vision for El Reno, and the main thing is I can help you get there. We have absolutely, over the years with the school and with the city, set programs up that got all these words and all these messages from you all that we developed in all the programs we've done. I've done that along with other people, the staff. I can do that again.
Okay, Kevin, I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask a follow-up question on that, if you've got anything you'd like to ask.
Yes, I do. I don't know, has El Reno Now had a gathering since you received your Mayor of the Year award? No. Have they? Well, I'll tell you what, this is really the El Reno Now, the incumbent and the superintendent of schools, little organized deal that they did here. I think we need to give our incumbent Mayor Matt White a round of applause for receiving. To acknowledge that. He's Mayor of the Year. He's Mayor of the Year. Took him 12 years. He's Mayor of the Year. Rode a slow horse. Rode a slow horse. But I was watching a film last night, a movie last night, and there was a quote on there that this English lady said, and it's from Robert Browning, poet of the 19th century, Andrea del Sota. Ah, but a man's reach should exceed his grasp, or what's a heaven for?
Is there a question? Is there a question?
I don't know. Is there a question?
Well, that was your opportunity, was to ask a follow-up question. Of your
Why did it take 12 years? We got to get some fun in this, folks. Come on, look at dry out this morning. I can get up at 5 to get my makeup on.
I'll be right here. The bottom line is, and I appreciate it, and I don't need the acknowledgement. I'm proud for El Reno because we're being acknowledged. Well, 1 year's Cornet. I mean, there's other people. El Reno falls in 2 categories. There's 2 categories for every year: under 5,000 people and over 5,000 people. So, there's a lot of accomplishments that other cities have done and everything else. And don't forget, I've been nominated a total of 6 times. So it does take a while to get there. But the main thing is, I think it goes back to shows the reflection of the work that I've done with the people and the partnerships in El Reno. And I think that was what was the main deal was the partnerships I've created, the things we've done here in El Reno, that other cities throughout the state are looking directly towards us and using some of our products that I've helped develop with staff, and staff's helped develop with me and other councilmen, and it's working here with us. And I think other people are excited about what's going on with El Reno, not just us.
I'm really not sure how Steve or Rita are going to be able to tell us why it took 12 years. So, but I would like to give them an opportunity.
Would you like to try?
And follow up to that. Okay.
I can't, honestly, I can't say why it's taken 12 years, but I can. I mean, Matt was mayor of the year, and I appreciate it. Matt has worked hard, and I appreciate his service, his dedication. I mean, there's no doubt. Matt loves his community, and he has given a lot of time. And as somebody who sat in public service for 20 years, I understand that is a sacrifice that people make. Matt has made that sacrifice. I'm willing to make that sacrifice. I've done that, and I know what it takes, and I'm willing to go forward and do that. But I would commend Matt because he's worked hard, and he was elected mayor of the year, and that is an honor.
Any follow-up?
No.
Okay. This is going to go back to Matt for the first response to this question. And what do you feel is the most important issue facing the citizens of El Reno over the next 10 years?
Okay, there's not just one. There's several that we can go over, and I want to kind of touch on what we talked about. The main thing is that we have to complete this race. Is not done. This is absolutely a marathon for El Reno. This is not a sprint. We're not here, or I'm not satisfied with where it is. Don't think for 1 minute I'm satisfied where we're at. I think we have to continue on and move up. A lot of that's new with infrastructure, but the main thing is that let's go back to, we're going to have to do some either type of bond issue, whether it be a geo bond that the people decide, or also maybe just to continue an issue of bonds that we've done. And we're doing that now with the sales tax debt. I've met with those people, Jeremy, Frazier, myself, and other people have met with the bond attorneys. We have a plan to start meetings just like we did with the CIP that we were involved with. Just like we did with the school systems. We're going to use the same deal. You all are going to give our information. Everybody says that we don't listen to what you're saying. I can tell you thousands of things overall, whether it be Facebook that we've done or throughout these meetings that we've done with you all. You all drove the ship. I've just been the captain of it. I've been thankful for doing it. I think that's the main thing for the 10 years, is that we have to get a plan to continue to do that. And I can help you with that financially because I know the path that we need to take and what direction we need to go. I think the other thing is the water plant's the main issue. We've got some plans that we're working on right now. We've already got the $22 million sewer plant that we were under consent order for years on, and then we finally got that up and going. Economic development is absolutely a strength of mine and the staff that we work real hard with, and we can show you the fruits of our labor that we paid, that we have talked other companies into doing to where they pay the infrastructure that you all don't have to. Healthcare is absolutely, we're going to break ground out here this month on the Healthplex that you all, because of the way we structured this, are not going to have to pay for anything extra, and we've structured it where we're borrow money from certain entities that we have, and also use the money that we negotiated from the other contractor that we had. So there's a long path that we have to do, including sidewalks and community center through those meetings.
All right, thank you, Matt. Kevin, the same question. What do you think is the most important issue facing the citizens of El Reno for the next 10 years?
What is the most important issue facing the citizens of El Reno over the next 10 years? When I received the letter from Superintendent McVeigh about this and what the questions were, the answer to that first one was very simple. Sure, we have to look 10 years ahead, but we need to start looking 30 years ahead, 40 years ahead, 50 years ahead. What do we want to be in 50 years, and start on that path on a 5-year, 10-year basis to achieve those things. When I look out here at this city of El Reno, this community that I grew up in, that I have a strong legacy for, I see making use of agriculture, of transportation, of private business and industry. Oil and gas, I have oil and gas at number 4. They're fly-by-nights. They hit and they get. That's what they do. Construction will be important. Tourism will be important. Let's play to our strengths. Crossroads of the nation. West boundary of the 1889 land run. East boundary of the 1892 land run. It happened right here. Jesse Chisholm drove the cattle through here that made the railroad come through here. Let's play to those strengths. Let's quit trying to compete with Mustang and Yukon and Piedmont. Let's become our own entity, an entity that is exemplary to the county, to the state, to the nation. That's what the vision that I have for the city of El Reno. But in answer to the question, quit thinking 10, start looking 30 to 50.
Okay, Rita?
When I got the letter and I read that question, I thought, the mayor's term is just 3 years. We talked about 2 years. But then I thought some more. And I don't have any ambitions to try to be your mayor for a long time. I see and I know that it's necessary for some changes. And I know that I'm the person for those changes to get started. But if I'm looking 10 years past, I would like to see continued growth. I would like to see more mentorship programs with our young people. And I would like to hear from the citizens, the younger people. what they want to see 10 years on down the line. You know, encourage them, teach them now. You know, that's our future. You know, let them tell us and let them. I remember when I was younger, in the summertime, they used to have, I don't know what you used to call it, job training or something, where the kids work for the city. I'd like to see that again. And encourage our young people to get back into it, because it don't have to be us older people up here. You know, we have some really gifted, talented children who needs to be brought up now, mentoring, you know, and they can do this. It don't have to be us. See.
Most important issue facing El Reno over the next 10 years, if it was just one issue, I wouldn't be up here as a candidate. But there are many issues that must be addressed, whether it be from education, improvement of roads, infrastructure, economic development. Those are all concerns. But as going around talking to people and listening to people, what their concern is, healthcare continues to come up. Healthcare, people want healthcare. There's some work being made in healthcare, but if you look at what has gone on in healthcare in El Reno over the last 10 years, we've moved back. We used to have multiple MD doctors, multiple services provided. We're down to one MD doctor who's no longer taking patients because he's older, 2 PAs, and a nurse practitioner. And people want health care. They want options. Yes, the city has changed service providers, but if you look at what was available, I talked to people recently. You know, Mercy had a healthcare clinic here, had 3,800 patients here in El Reno, and they're not here anymore. Why is that? It's not because they got out of the healthcare business and they moved out, but citizens want quality health care. And yes, they're going to break ground on HealthPlex and stuff, but that is not a hospital. Matt told us that Tuesday night. That's not a hospital. If you want some longer term stay, you're not going to go there and stay long term. If your grandmother's sick or has pneumonia and needs to stay and wants to stay locally and make it easy on the family, that is not an option at that facility. But we've got to listen to people, hear what their concerns are, and we've got to move forward in a proactive voice. We've got to think long term. 10 years is not long enough. I mean, you've got to think 15, 20, 30 years, and you've got to have a plan to do that. You've got to have a strategic plan and map that out.
Follow up. So you guys have already had an opportunity for a follow-up, so it's going to... Well, not for this question, but for a previous question. So I'm just going to give the opportunity for a follow-up to Rita for this question.
My follow-up will be, I'm not much on a whole lot of words. You know, I seek needs. I listen to people, and then you search out, you know, a way to handle it. But I'm just not a lot on words. And to me, and this is just to me, how we do this, how we sit here and we take these questions so you can get to know or feel who's the best person for this position. It's just really hard for you to see it like this, especially for us who have never worked in the position. When you're actually working in the position, it will be much different from this.
I'm sorry, is there a question that you want to address to your other candidates?
I just thought I got to run my mouth.
Yeah. Spoke gospel, girl.
No, I don't have a question. I heard everything that they said, but I will still say, okay, how do you all feel that our young people would play a part in being a part of our future in the years to come?
Yeah, go ahead.
They're going to be brought in on planning meetings and just like we did whenever we brought the community together to do the $45 million school expansion. We brought the students in, young leaders, and listened to them, asked what they wanted to ask, because they're the ones, they've got great vision, great ideas. They still dream have dreams and throw things out there, and they have, young people have an attitude that, you know, all things are possible. They haven't lived long enough to realize that, you know, they still dream, and people need to be able to dream and then bring those dreams forward and put them into reality.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Well, now, am I asking a question or am I answering the question? I'm really confused because I am the oldest candidate up here, and I 1 minute response.
You get a 1 minute response to how we bring young people into the process.
How do we bring young people into the process of city government? Education, it begins in the school. It begins in the school. And the school educates them. We bring them into our city government, as I've seen through the mayor of the day things. But that's a difficult question to answer because it's city versus school. But I would say this, and I'll ask this to Superintendent McVeigh. Let's have one of these on the stage at the high school for the students and the staff so they can begin to see what is quality community government. I had an opportunity to talk to Mr. Jensen's John David the other day and told him, pay attention to what's going on. You may sit here.
Okay, real quick, got a minute. We do that. We've done it several times before. We've been on the stage. We answer that. We do that every year. And a lot of those things that come out of those things that we have February that I fix. We've done to the. I say I fix the city's fixed. We've listened to kids and where they have complaints. We take them aside. We've done that, and those have been great programs. I've been involved in this my third year. I think we've done this. We've done it. There's been phase there. The school boards there. It's a great deal. The main thing is how do we get this thing together? I think that was kind of my question, but it kind of ties into Rita setting me up a little bit. We have a comprehensive plan. That's one thing I know as a mayor, and that's one thing you have to know, and these guys don't know it because that's their experience. We've been working on this for almost 8 months, Dustin has. We brought kids in. We've gone to Burger Day. We've done this stuff. We brought kids in and asked them, how would you build a community? Where would you be at? So we're doing that now. And a comprehensive plan that we've been working on for 8 months is absolutely something we've been doing for a long time, and that's what has to be done. So these things that they're saying that we need to do, we're currently doing those. And I do Mayor of the Day. We do mock council meetings. So we bring the young people in. They have to be brought in. They are the future.
Okay, thank you. Craig, just to clarify, are we trying to wrap up?
Yes,
Hard
end at 8:30.
Perfect. Okay. Well, then I'm going to give the candidates 3 minutes to give closing thoughts and ideas on whatever you want to discuss at this point.
You want to go the opposite of what we started?
Yeah. Why don't we start with Rita and we'll just go right down the table. Sure. Keep it simple.
Thank you. I must read. I've done a lot of community service, and I work with children a lot, children, elderly, our citizens, because I love people. But I really have a heart for our young people, because sometimes they have a hard road to go. But I stand in this election for mayor for righteousness' sake and for the well-being of all of our citizens and neighborhoods. We will work with and for the citizens of El Reno, prioritizing our efforts in the areas of justice, education, and the beautification of all our neighborhoods. We will, with the help of our citizens, open the doors of communication, working to build relationships, because we are better together. El Reno consists of 4 sides, northwest, east, and south, and our mayor must reflect that, and we will. We will be a mayor who is truly concerned for the well-being of the entire city, who will enforce the city ordinances, who will be accountable to the people, and who will hold every person that works for this municipality to be respectfully and lawfully carrying out the duties, the responsibilities of which their individual jobs require. We will encourage a standard of excellence as we work together, working together in being better, and the best El Reno we can be. I'm willing. God can make me able, and your vote will put me in position.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everybody for coming this morning and listening to the 4 of us. It's great to see a room full of people and people interested and caring about our city. It's great to see a full room the other night, and people are concerned. People are, they care. If nobody showed up, then people would, everybody would think everything's all right, and nothing needs to be done. But I'm truly humbled to sit up here as a candidate for mayor. And again, as I've mentioned before, I'm not a politician. I'm your neighbor. And if I haven't had the chance to meet you, I look forward to that opportunity. I don't know everybody in El Reno, but I'm willing to meet people, talk to them, listen, hear their ideas, and go forward with that. But what matters is not what can be found on my resume, and not what I've done in the past, not what my business interests are, but rather what's in my heart. I believe the office of the mayor belongs not to one person, but belongs to the people. The office of the mayor is the office of the people. It should be open door. I plan on giving that back to the people. We all in this room share a love for this city, and I believe our best days are ahead of us. I strongly believe that we are better together. The more informed that you guys and everyone is about city issues, the better it is for our community. And the more transparent that city leaders, school leaders, anybody in leadership position is, that's better. Our campaign believes that the best days are ahead of us for El Reno, and I truly believe that. El Reno's moving in a positive direction, but we've got to continue to looking forward, continue to develop a comprehensive plan. Yes, the city's working on it. I have a comprehensive plan, but you look at that, there was, the last plan that was done stopped in 2013, and now we're in 2019, so there's a 6-year gap in there. But we can't be neglect on leadership. We've got to be forward thinking. We've got to aim higher. If we don't, if we don't aim really high, we're not going to hit anything because trajectory of a bullet drops. So you've got to aim. You've got to set your vision high. Even set your goals high that you push yourself. And I just thank you for the opportunity to be able to serve. I love this community. My family's been here since 1890s. I'm 5th generation here, and I would love for your vote. I ask for your vote. Thank you.
Three minutes, that's a long time. I've got so many notes sitting here in front of me, I'm not sure which one I need to look at to say, for what to say. But I will say this. El Reno is in way better shape than it was when I moved away from here in 1984 into Central Texas with the well service industry. What took me away from my hometown. I didn't want to leave. That's what I had to do to support my family. And I always paid attention to what was going on in El Reno. Took the paper for many years whenever I could get land in the city long enough that where I was going to stay there, I took the El Reno Tribune. Plug there for you, Ray. And I saw Mayor White, the incumbent, become the mayor, and I knew there were great things going to happen. And when I would come back, I would see things were happening. I saw things were changing. It was getting better, and it felt good. But then I got to move back here 7 years ago, going on 8 now. And things still are better than they were. But there's a certain period, Economics 101, they call it the point of diminishing returns. Many of the financial people out here will know what I'm talking about. And when I'm talking about point of diminishing returns, I'm pointing that at a 12-year term as the mayor of El Reno, and I want to be the mayor for El Reno, to tie all of El Reno together. I don't want to run this city. I don't want to manage this city. I want to be the ultimate liaison. I want to be the concierge. I want to be the one that brings people in and shows them around, makes them feel comfortable. Let them know exactly how I feel when I'm part of this community, that I belong, that I have purpose, that I have goals, and that I really just want the betterment of this community. So that one day I said this the other night, and this is the truth, this is my elevator pitch. Why do you want to be the mayor of El Reno? And I came up with an elevator pitch. One day, I want my children at the earliest or my grandchildren at the latest to come up to me and say, Dad, Grandpa, we're coming to Oklahoma. We've chosen El Reno to live in because we see what's going on, and it is what the future is. Vote Copelin for mayor for a clearer, cleaner, brighter 2020. Vote Copelin November the 12th of 2019. Thank you all for being here, because it is the citizens of the community that make the community strong. It is the organizations, it is the churches, it is the schools, it's the whole thing making a cohesive, cooperative, collective use of every resource that we have. And we have resources here in this community that we are not utilizing. We need to utilize them. Let's get together and get behind. And I'm going to close with this. I know that I have greater expectations for our incumbent than he may have for himself. We just need to get going in that direction. Thank you all very much for being here today.
Sure, I'm scared.
Go for it.
Okay, I'll be here quick because I got a lot to say. I'll be here quick again. First of all, thank you all for coming. We really do appreciate everybody. This is great. And I do want to thank all the candidates up here. And I do want to say something. I've known all the candidates, either most of my life or a lot of my life or a long time. So I do respect everybody. The only thing I'm agitated with all three of them about is that, I would love to see people run for boards before they decide to do a higher office. Why not be on city council? Why not be on these separate boards? Why not be on Main Street boards? Why not be involved in these other boards, whether it be Plan Commission or everything else? We have to beg people to do that, and then all of a sudden everybody wants to be the mayor. And it takes a lot to do this. And it takes the 12 years to fully understand exactly where the grants are, who the players are on the housing, who the things are you need to talk to. And that's what I bring to the whole thing. I don't have any ill will towards all three. I think I'm a little bit different than everybody else. Hey man, I go through this every time. You go through this 3 years. It's the job interview. You either keep me or you don't keep me. I go on performance. My wife and I, we live here. I have one daughter that just moved away. Hopefully I'm trying to get her back. And the other daughter just moved back from Oklahoma City here. I have my son works at FCI, and my daughter works at TAC office, stepdaughter. And my two kids go here to El Reno, one to Catholic school, to our school, which my wife serves as a school board member and also a teacher. So we're invested in the community. We're not here just trying to be here we've been a part of the whole community. We want to continue that on. We have to do drainage work. We have to do sidewalks. We have to continue this thing we've been doing. I disagree as far as the flat line. We've been doing nothing but go up. You have to have planning. You have to have someone that understands the financing in order to make that happen. And I do that based on what the feedback you all give me. I work for everybody in here. I've always done that. We're committed. Personally, we're committed 100% with my family. So, I get it. I appreciate it. This is one of those 3-year deals you have to go through. There's a lot of rumors going around that we do this, do that. And you know what? Let them have it. If you got a question, you call me. I publish my deal on my flyers, my telephone number. You don't have to text a certain number. You don't have to just do an email when I answer you back. My wife doesn't answer my Facebook back. I do. We're here. We're committed to this community, and I need your help. And we need to continue this on. This can't just be a certain group. It has to be. I agree with Rita, and I feel this way. You can see all the work we've done from the Northwest community to the North, South, East, and West in the community. We have absolutely spread that out. I can show you on paper where we try to be fair throughout the whole community. And I make sure that happens. And I know the other councilmen do too. So I appreciate you. I need your support. I need you to stand up with me to continue this. I have worked hard based on what you gave me. So let me do it again. Thank you.
Okay,
a follow-up question?
You do not. We are already past time. I'm going to stand up so I can actually see all the people in here right now. I want to thank you all for coming. I hope that you realize how blessed you are to have 4 great candidates file for this office. This is fantastic. And I want to make a personal challenge to whoever you decide to elect for your mayor. You've got great leadership up here, all running for this office. So I hope that whoever wins this election will take advantage of these people that are here and appoint them to leadership positions in the city and continue to help El Reno go forward. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Senator Paxton.
All right, thank you. Is this on? All right, thank you all very much for all being here. Let me tell you one quick story before we adjourn today. I was mayor of Tuggle for several years back, 10 or 15 years ago. And let me give you all a challenge, because one thing that anybody that's ever served in some of these volunteer positions, there's times that they go home and they put their head in their hands and say, why do I do this? Because the only time you hear from citizens a lot of times is when things are going bad. And so a lot of times people don't just say, hey, good job on that road, good job on this. And so I want to encourage everybody here, because there was a lady in Tuttle, she's since passed away, but once a month when I was mayor, she would call me. And she would just say, she was not following politics, she didn't care about the policies, but she would just call and say, thank you for serving that position, and I'm praying for you every day. It meant the world to me. So my challenge to this community is, there's people in this room who serve in all sorts of volunteer boards and commissions throughout this city. Every now and then, just pick up a phone or go catch them on the street and just say, thank you for serving. It matters. It helps boost him to say, and that keeps him encouraged in that job. Because it's a big deal. People that serve in these positions, or you four that have put yourself out here in front of this community to run for mayor, that's a big deal. That takes a lot to do that. So from me to you all, thank you. And from everybody else in here, if we could just, before we leave today, and before I announce how much money you all raised for blessing baskets, can I get you all to give a round of applause, not just these 4 people, but to everybody who serves in these offices throughout the thank you all again, but you all raised today $630 for blessing baskets. So great.